Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Landing Zone podcast. It's been a while, has it not? So we got quite a couple of stories on the shelf for us today, but just to let you know, we're back. We're back, bitches. And on the show with us today, we have Rum and Apples back on the show. And, of course, co-host Crystal Red Punks is also on the podcast with us today. So let's jump into, I think, the lead story today as soon as Rum and Apples hacks his lung out.
I'm on a Nimbus legacy. I'm floating above you like Assassin's Creed.
He's good.
Hello.
He's alive. So
hey,
the first story, we've got a story for Halo 5 that I think is absolutely wonderful, and I think it's very telling to the future landscape. I don't even want to say future. I want to say it's happening now, which I think is funny because there's some publishers that haven't jumped on with this yet, with bigger games that are games that are bigger than Halo 5 has ever hoped to be. But there's a story coming from Michael Pachter, analyst in the video game industry, of which people like to digest salt in their diets when they're talking about Michael Pachter. But a story out of GameZone, and it talks about Halo 5's microtransactions. And if you don't own Halo 5, and can we call him Pac-Man? I mean, if we got a nickname for everybody in the industry, we might as well. Stepdad Phil, nothing for Todd Howard quite yet.
Dude, he don't deserve a nickname.
He doesn't.
That motherfucker just Todd Howard.
So the story for Halo 5 microtransactions, and I'll quote straight from the article. It says, according to analyst Michael Pachter, the reasoning behind going to microtransactions for some items and offering free DLC packs was because every time they did DLC paid, they lose part of their player base, which means fewer people buying their DLC and fewer players in general. This new method of asking for people to buy the skins and armor they wanted while handing out free DLC allowed 343 to maintain their player base. Interesting concept. So, if you're a buyer of DLC, specifically map packs, and Crystal Red Punks, we've done this for years, buying map packs for Call of Duty and Gears and whatever other particularly popular game we were playing at that point, which could cost 10, 15, 20 bucks a pop, depending on what game we're talking about. It's kind of a radical idea because now you look at games like Rainbow Six Siege or Overwatch, which has completely flipped this model, and now we're doing free maps, and now they're just charging for cosmetic items. Is this the right way to go about this?
100%. I don't see how it could be the wrong way to go about it because you're basically keeping your community together. And especially on the Xbox, like we were talking earlier, I said the Xbox isn't selling that great. Everybody knows it. And you have a one-hit game on there like Halo, you don't want to split that community up even more. So having a DLC plan like this, similar to like Overwatch or like you said, Rainbow Six Siege, it basically keeps everybody playing together and people get to pick and choose what they want, but they get to keep the same base DLC. That's pretty cool.
It's nice. And if you've ever played games past and games from previous generations, your Call of Duty 4s, Modern Warfare 2s, things like that, it was interesting with all the paid DLC that they were charging for. It was not uncommon to just run into playlists that didn't even have people in them. And even worse if you're on PC, because if you're playing a Call of Duty on PC, which is now charging for maps, which historically they did not, they're empty playlists now most of the time. Go check out Call of Duty Advanced Warfare on PlayStation 4 real quick, and you'll see just how many players are left. And I'm serious. You go and play it right now, and I have trouble finding a game. There's nobody playing that game. And it's not even that terrible of a game, at least if you look in, Advanced Warfare. Now it kind of makes Infinite Warfare makes Advanced Warfare look great retroactively, I would say. But this is a clear effort to not split up the player base.
You're being very polite, Legacy.
That model of the haves and have-nots is just not working anymore, right? This is just... It's unfortunate that people are shelling out money for map packs only for them to be dead and completely abandoned months later, especially if you're Call of Duty, because once the new marketing cycle starts for the new Call of Duty, the other game is forgotten for patches. Well, Call of Duty 3 or Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is kind of a separate case now, seemingly.
Because Call of Duty Black Ops 3 was actually a solid shooter, in my opinion, because Advanced Warfare was super fucking clunky with the exosuit system. And this new game felt like it was made by somebody like from Coding 101. This game is trash, Infinite Warfare. I've barely touched that game. I bought it day one.
I played it for about an hour. I bought it for Modern Warfare, I'll be honest. And that was I'm part of the problem, I think.
Well, you got sold a bad bill of goods because you're like, yeah, here's Modern Warfare 1. By the way, we're adding in new weapons that were never in the original game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no big deal. Maybe it'll ruin the way the game was played in the first place. It's just common Activision bullshit.
Yeah. And there's another quote coming from the article. It says, additionally, the cumulative spending in microtransactions on Halo 5 for that 6 months was greater than all DLCs for any Halo game ever. Though it should be noted that this means microtransaction sales outweighed any other Halo's DLC, not the cumulative sales for the DLC for all of the Halo games. So microtransactions are moving, and if you haven't played Halo 5, you don't have to buy anything. Simply playing the game. I've played a lot of Halo 5. I enjoy Halo 5. I enjoy it immensely, actually. It's a really fun game. It's not a game that the Halo purists like. If you're a super diehard Halo player,
if you're a purist, Halo to a lot of purists, Halo 5 is trash.
Yes,
that's the truth. Because to a lot of Halo purists who I know, they won't touch it. They go, "Are you fucking kidding? Are you stupid?" No. But I don't blame anybody.
Like after Halo 3, well, I'm sorry, not even after Halo. I liked Reach. A lot of people didn't like Reach. I feel like after Reach, it kind of went downhill.
I think the addition of the armor abilities kind of killed it for me.
Well, that was
which is weird because I like Halo 5. It's strange.
Halo 3 had it wasn't armor abilities, but it had like the power ups, like the shield and shit you could get.
Mm-hmm.
I can safely say after Halo 3, I was completely done.
I can co-sign that, but the Halo Reach campaign was amazing.
It was. I agree. We've talked about this part. It was Reach was fantastic in its execution for single player. I definitely agree.
I felt like it was like the Rogue One of Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you knew what was going to happen. Like, yeah, you guys aren't into other games.
That's a perfect comparison. I have seen Rogue One. I saw it actually for the first time just this last weekend. It's been a while, but that's a perfect comparison now that I've seen it and know what that means. That third act was pretty impressive. So I think, and now contrast this because we're not done here. Even though we don't know what's going on for the next Battlefield, Electronic Arts for Battlefront 2, because they have the Star Wars license and they're cranking out we're looking at the folks at Respawn Entertainment. They're working on a Star Wars license. But then Battlefront 2 is also now not charging for maps. So they have not said what they're charging for, but let's just assume. Let's just assume what's going on is that they're going to follow the rest of the model of what we're going to now. Not charging for maps and then charging for microtransactions, which can probably lead to a lot of, oddly painted people running around in a Star Wars universe. I could get down for that, but we're not splitting up the player base. That's the big point.
Yeah. Legacy. The major similarity between a lot of publishers and developers right now is they're pushing for a model that is non-DLC oriented because they're going to make more money off microtransactions because it's easier to access people, and for people it doesn't seem like a more expensive option. And,
it's like
specifically with Star Wars Battlefront 2, they're gonna go in on you for heroes. That's what they're gonna hit you with. You know that.
I don't know.
Let's not be silly. Oh, what else are they gonna put in?
Probably cosmetics, because the first game had a whole bunch of cosmetic options you had to level up like crazy to unlock. Whereas they make that a fequare where you just purchase like black stormtrooper armor. They could push that out because like with all the different films, all the different like from the prequels to the original trilogy to the new versions of the film, there's been so many different kinds of troopers, so many different kinds of characters. Like they could do all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah, that is a good point. And that's probably where a lot of these games are going to go, because they'll probably look at it like, okay, we understand this is virtual paintball. Let's give them all the maps and give them all the environments. We'll keep our player base together. That'll be better for us in the long term, and then we'll make more customizable accessory stuff that's not going to implement gameplay or factor into that. So that'll keep people not pissed off at us, and then we can make money and people can color coordinate their shit like a fucking NASCAR. That's pretty much what's happening. And if that's the way they're going and people are willing to spend their money in a game that they've already paid for and already paid for an online premium service to play it online for the privilege, then fine. That's your choice. And if that's good for the ecosystem of Halo to continue on, and hopefully they can do the story justice and not fuck up the story in Halo 5 like they did, not fuck up Halo 6 story like they did in Halo 5.
And 4 was kind of janky too.
4 ended with a quick time event. They could just go away. They could shut the 343 has done nothing but just tragically kick Halo in the dick. Master Chief is on the ground right now, and you got Brock Lesnar with another pair of arms looking like Goro with a Viking helmet on.
Goro reference.
Yeah, Goro with that super jumping off the screen, smashing just your organs into putty and bananas.
Those were $200 sunglasses, asshole.
Combat. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
But is this lesser of two evils territory, the way we're doing this? Because there's another argument to be made that if you're charging $60 for a video game, should we be adding a freemium style microtransactions for something that should be reserved for free-to-play games?
I don't think that's
the other argument.
I don't think that's the case though, because you're still going to get the free maps later on. Like, think about like Overwatch.
No, Cedric. They're talking about the accessories, because that's what it is. It's a mobile gaming aspect being implemented in a full fucking AAA.
But it's still optional.
I realize
it's an option.
Optional,
yeah,
and similar to like Overwatch, you could earn these crates. You don't have to buy them, but you can buy them if you want.
I recognize your argument. The major argument is a philosophical argument of should these practices be implemented in these games at all. And me, personally, I say no, they shouldn't be. But I understand that I am just on that, like Legacy said earlier, on the separate side of that argument. So I don't know what part of the category that makes me fall under. I just disagree with it. But I understand from a business aspect why a AAA company would go, oh, yeah, it's Vincent McMahon. We're working with 343 Industries. We're going to have Vince McMahon, groin protector, Master Chief cod pieces.
I will spend the $250 on that right now.
I'll buy that.
Protein powder when you kill somebody.
I'll buy that. As a matter of fact, I think the next Call of Duty should have paid DLCs for Vince McMahon. I would do that.
I think Vince McMahon should do the overdubs for all the, Team Deathmatch.
Yeah. Nice.
Warzone.
I guess we're going home losers.
There you go. That's amazing. Team Deathmatch.
So I got to celebrate this. I have to talk about this. And as a principled podcast runner who has always bitched about DLC, I think this is a great way to do it. And I've given a lot of money to Halo 5 because of this. Because the model, even though it's RNG, which annoys the shit out of me, you just open this crate and you have no idea what's going to be in it until it gives you just a long list of things and hardly ever the thing you want. Sometimes it surprises you, but I think it's a sustainable model. It's clearly an even better model than splitting player bases. Everybody wins here, right? And I think that's even because they're going to get their money either way. Your ass is either paying for a season pass or they're going to nickel and dime you. And if everybody's playing together, I think the nickel and diming is the better way to go. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe for future content surrounding other games like Destiny, Far Cry, No Man's Sky, and others. And, of course, we're available on SoundCloud, too, now, for those of you that like to go on road trips and random things like that. See ya!